here, but I'm just gonna say it this way. She was swallowing poop.
I was. Okay, so
So
I can't find
explain.
a term for that either, right? So it's poop.
Hey y'all, my name is Brandon and welcome to Guilt-Free Chats. So Guilt-Free Chats is a series that introduces new and inspiring people that we come across in life. These individuals can range from authors, innovative thinkers, artists, entrepreneurs, workpreneurs, just anyone in life that's embracing the light within them and sharing it with the community. So guys, today is episode 1, The Power of Art, and we're featuring Madam Z. So she was born and raised. I'm going to read this because I definitely don't want to get this wrong. This is a very inspirational person. She was born and raised Zelitra Lynette Peterson in Memphis, Tennessee in the 80s. She has been an artist all her life. She's a proud mother of 2 talented boys thriving in the Memphis hometown community. She's a muralist and small business owner of Madam Z LLC. Although she did attend Memphis College of Art, she had to withdraw in 2000 due to major health complications, which ironically led her into using her artistic gifts to manage and restore her health. Helping to inspire others like her, she was motivated enough to publish her first ebook in 2019, 50 Shades of Z, Overcoming IBD, Obesity, Opioids, and Depression. This is available now on Amazon. Madam Z was born soon after, during the summer of 2020, where she met a well-known local artist, Sir Walter Android, Mudworks creator. His art is amazing, by the way. He introduced her to the medium of combining drywall mud with acrylics and resin. Mudworks, which is spelled with the N with a Z, was created soon after. They are currently available at www.madamz.com. So that's www.madamnz.com. You can find her on social media at Madamn Z for you on Instagram. So that's MADAMNZ for you. That's Instagram, or on Facebook at MADAMNZ on Facebook. Check her out on YouTube channel, House of Madam Z, and become a part of the creativity that goes on when she's working alongside local artist Anthony Lee at Martial Arts Studio, installing public murals around the Memphis area, and many more colorful adventures throughout our local artist community. So, guys, let's welcome Madam Z. Hello, Madam Z. How you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Brandon.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks for coming on. So, like I was telling people, I checked out your book. It's really amazing. It's really inspirational. So from that book, you mentioned that the first thing that was shocked me was that, you mentioned that you had over 23 surgeries.
Yes.
Can you explain like that whole process, just like how that worked, the time frame those 23 surgeries were within?
Yeah. So immediately after I graduated from high school, I was diagnosed with Crohn's. So when I was diagnosed with Crohn's, there wasn't a lot of information out about it. And the doctors were really struggling to find out what was wrong with me before the diagnosis. And when they finally diagnosed me, they were like, well, there's limited options you have. And the one option I didn't want to have was having to get my colon and my intestines cut on a whole lot
Mm,
repeatedly.
okay.
So I end up trying certain therapies that they advised me to use, and it ended up leading to a lot of complications. I had to have my gallbladder removed, and I've had to have some of my intestines cut away, and I've had to have multiple porticals, which there are these little intravenous ports that are implanted under the skin to
Oh,
receive medicine in on a monthly or weekly or daily basis if you need it. So it's just really just been a course of just trying to stay ahead of the Crohn's. The IBD has led me to get over. It's actually gotten. I'm close to 30, and that's nothing to be proud of. I'm hoping to stay right there at 29.
mhm. Yeah.
And not go to 30. But yeah, and if I had known what I know now,
Yep.
I wouldn't have had all those surgeries.
Yeah, that's sort of how life works, right? We have to go through. the lessons of life to where we are today, so that way we can share with others. So hopefully, hopefully others will hear your story and they may not have to go through, the
Yeah,
trials and tribulation that the learning that you went through.
that's my whole point about just connecting with wonderful people like you and writing
Like,
a book and just my art, just inspiring people with the videos and the time lapse that I do. The art that I use for my healing is something that's spiritual for me, and it allowed me to heal myself without looking towards my doctor for the answer, because I kept looking at all these doctors for the answer and they kept giving me prescription after
like,
prescription after prescription. And over 16 years of taking opioids, that's an addiction.
that's
No
true.
one thing, the doctor's still writing a prescription, but she's not saying, oh, you're addicted to this,
Mhm.
She's just constantly writing that prescription. Well, it's not working. Okay, well, we're gonna go up on the dose. No one's telling me, hey, you need to slow down. Have you ever looked at the fact that your opioids could be causing the dis-ease in your gut?
Yep.
I never put all of that together. It's crazy. And what's really funny to me is when I was 18, they started me out with IV methadone. That's something they don't even use in hospitals anymore.
Right.
It's so powerful.
Wow,
So powerful.
it's that powerful. So I wanted to, before we, because I know in your book you mentioned how from all the narcotics that it paralyzed your gut, but I wanted to, before we get too deep into like, for just for the people who may not know, can you give your definition for someone who's experienced it, what Crohn's and IBD is?
Yeah, so IBD, irritable bowel syndrome, is a condition of the gut where you have issues with eating food, absorbing the nutrients. You get a lot of stomach cramps and pain, diarrhea, bloody diarrhea, you fatigue, weight loss. There's so many symptoms. And to be honest, living in the 901 and in the South the way we do, a lot of us are walking around here with
Yep,
IBD. you
that's
know
true.
Even if it's not Crohn's disease, you might hear of colitis, you might hear of diverticulitis, you might hear of colon cancer, stomach cancer. There are so many different branches when it comes to IBD. It's just really about your how far the disease has progressed, and unfortunately it is dis-ease in the gut. So that's what Crohn's disease is to me. It's
Yeah.
the dis-ease in my gut from eating things that don't serve me
Mhm.
and things that aren't good that we buy from the grocery store that are fake. And even when you go to Whole Foods, one of the things with IBD, you have to be careful what you eat. When they say you are what you eat, you really are what you eat. And some of the pain that goes with what you eat, you never want to experience again. So roughage and all the whole healthy foods, nuts and seeds and berries and all the good stuff hurt.
Oh man.
Pain excruciating to me. All that good stuff. It is.
Really? So, like you said, all the good stuff was the problem. So, what exactly, like, are you or most people with Crohn's and IBD are able to eat that if you can't do like the dark leafy greens, the nuts, the seeds, the berries? That what exactly nourishes your gut? What allows your gut? Like, what can you eat that your gut would take in?
You know what? That is a great question. And I say that in all seriousness because I'm still on this journey,
Yep.
and the things that I eat currently, I find something and I stick to it. I love my crock pot. I
Mm,
love being able to I can't eat raw veggies and
gotcha.
broccoli and stuff like that, all that roughage cabbage, but I can stew and overcook things to a point to where it becomes mushy enough that it allows my gut to digest it without causing me all that pain.
Ah, I see. So it has to sort of be cooked down. The
It
roughage does. Got you. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
and everybody is different. I know some people who can eat salads and enjoy nuts and smoothies with all the chia seeds and flax seeds in it. But, I have to be very careful and selective with that because that stomach pain is what led to me needing to go see pain management for so long. So I
Mhm.
try to do my best to not be triggered by stress. Stress is one of the leading factors of Crohn's disease. It's not just what you put in your gut, it's also your environment, the people around you. I mean, it's a whole ecosystem that you have to kind of reconfigure for yourself and find a way that you can live and not survive, but thrive,
Mhm.
and live in the abundance that we all want to live in.
Exactly. So basically, you're saying that, like, as they say, the gut is one of our brains. So with Crohn's and IBD, or just anything in life, really, you have to get that balance for your gut and your brain and get it in sync, and that will help people move more and more throughout life more better than with their gut issues. Then, correct? Outside of doing all the eating things and different things of that nature.
Yeah, because like you said, the brain is the well, actually, the gut. My bad. The gut is the second brain, but I believe it's the opposite. I think that
Yep.
the gut first brain, and the reason why I say that is that I can't the reason why I say that is when you eat something bad, it gives you bad thoughts, you have bad dreams, you have a bad
Mhm.
attitude, all of everything going in the gut, it goes straight to the brain, and that chemical imbalance makes you behave a certain way, makes you feel a certain way, and it affects you and those around you. So, the gut is really our first brain. It is. And when we take care of that better, we can think better and sleep better and
Mhm.
move better. Just be better overall.
That's true. You're exactly right about that. I 100% agree with you. So following up from that, like, we see all the amazing artwork behind you, and you were telling us how you're this amazing artist, and I've seen some of your work as well, and it is amazing. Especially with you and Sir Walt get together. It's like Superman and Wonder Woman. It's like two superheroes get together and create this amazing artwork. So you guys, we're gonna flash pictures for you watching this on like YouTube and stuff. We're gonna be putting pictures on the screen throughout the conversation, just showing her art, Sir Walt art, and just things about what we're talking about. So if you're listening to this on a podcast, make sure to also watch it as well, guys. But what motivated you to start like get into painting? Because I know you were mentioning that you have this hilarious brother. Was he like the motivation to painting, or what just got you started to painting?
Yeah, what started me to paint was being locked up off in that hospital room for so long. It's real funny that you asked me that because Pete, I was thinking about this yesterday. You know, hit us a couple years ago,
Yep.
and people had to be locked down and isolated. Well, I was in quarantine for almost 20 years, so it really didn't affect me. I spent so much time in the hospital room. I spent more time in the hospital than I was at home. I'm talking about close to 20 consecutive years, not a single year. There was never 1 year off. I was like a permanent resident
Man.
in the hospital. So I had to find a way to occupy my time. I
Hmm.
appreciate those nurses. They are so wonderful. And just being able to paint and them come in and see it, and it kind of that fed me seeing the colors, me seeing their reaction to the paint, and then feeling their energy change from feeling down and feeling up the minute they see the paint. They walk in the room feeling down, and then they see that paint, and it's like when they leave, it's smile positive, just high
Hmm.
frequency, and that inspired me more than anything.
Wow. So the inspiration, so feeling the light that comes off for other people, their energy is what inspired you more to continue in your craft along in art, then, correct?
Yes, I can say that. Yes, yes.
Cool, cool. So, like, I'm not hearing, so there was no like formal training. There was no like you started painting like a long time before this, like as a kid, because I see that awesome like kid. There's a kid in the background, guys, in her background, like this awesome kid, this humongous fro. and like reading a book, which is awesome. So like you weren't that little kid where you was like painting like a sketchbook or something, or how did it, like how long have you been doing it before the hospital time?
That's funny. Paintbrush was not a paintbrush, a pencil. I didn't start painting until the hospital, but
Okay.
was my best friend from day one. When I was sitting at the dinner table, I was drawing my plate while I'm eating. I'm looking at drawing. It was like, wow, I can do this. This is amazing.
Wow. That's amazing. I'm always like artists, because I'm an artist myself, but just with music. But like when I see people art like with drawing, I'm always like blown, like how y'all just like a lot of you guys just say, I just started sketching with a pencil and it looks good. Like if I sketch with a pencil, it's like a stick figure. That's about it. Like a man with a stick, maybe some eyes and a smile or something, like a weird line fro. That's about the much that I can do.
Well, you're ahead of the game then, because a lot of people tell you they can't even draw a stick figure. So you need to get
Oh,
yourself.
yes. Yes. Pat on the back then.
But
So no, go ahead. Go ahead.
speaking of the guy you see behind me, this is my latest publishing, my current ebook on Amazon. The name is Art Walking in Memphis, and I have to share more of that with you at some time. I'm working on getting the hard book out so I can. I'm hoping to be able to put it in stores around town because
Wow.
it's showing a lot of Memphis and just a lot of the art and creativity you see behind me.
That's awesome. And definitely once that book comes out in hard form, I'm definitely got to get my hands on it. Like I was telling you before, I love reading, tactile reading. I love it. And also we can try to talk together in the future about try to see if we can get this to people around the country to work on shipping it as well. I would love to help you, work on that also because we ship a lot what I do. So we would love to like share that information with you. So people listen to this, if they're not here in the Memphis area, they definitely can get their hands on it, wherever they're located at.
Thank you. Yeah, that'd be
Yes,
awesome.
ma'am. We definitely got to keep helping each other out. So you said that you taught yourself. So you taught yourself how to paint. You started with the stencils with the pencils. Then once you got into the hospitals and you was a resident there, fortunately but unfortunately there for 20 years, you started painting. So when you were in a hospital, you mentioned a lot in your book about like the opioids and how the opioids, narcotics paralyzed your gut. Like, could you go a little bit deeper if you don't mind sharing with people about how you freed yourself from the opioids? 'Cause I found that very amazing how, because I know a lot of people who go through those type of addictions, because there really are addictions. And, it takes years or decades and they're yo-yoing back and forth. But I think you mentioned, I think I recall this correctly. You mentioned that it was like cold turkey or something, right?
Okay, so yeah, it was cold turkey. I did not use the help of any medical profession. I don't advise that to anyone. That was
Mm.
something that I did because I feel like I'm a seasoned professional at this point. So what I actually did, I went to nature and she produced a wonderful herb that has been around for a very long time. And I was able to tap into that and using cannabis to
Mm.
in my food and just be able to use it to wean me off of all those opioids and not have to go through that cold sweat or that madness that a lot of people go through when they're in that grip of that opioid addiction. It really makes you want to do a lot of things. However, the cannabis counteracts that.
Wow. I did not
It,
know that.
and there's THC in our body. So once I
Mhm.
realized that our body, our own ecocannabinoid system, actually produces THC, I was like, okay, well, if we have a system that produces THC, I can feed that system, and that should supply me enough to where I don't need this opioid, right?
Mhm.
It worked.
Wow. Wow. So basically, just like it's amazing because like so many people when we go through different things and we turn towards what we know, what we're told to turn towards, which is like modern day science,
Mhm.
with the Western way of doing it. Um, you find throughout that trials and tribulations of doing that, because sometimes they are just that, because you're really a test subject for these doctors and stuff, which is nothing. I mean, that's what you sign up for. That's the way the system works. We're not shaming doctors at all, because we need
Right.
them for emergency situations. But you learned, seemed like you became your own doctor with the first form of medicine, which was what the earth provided with us. Because I didn't know this to just now, that we have THC in our body. I never knew that. And the fact that you actually utilize that, do you think now, like with so much cannabis being legalized in all different states, you're able to go get it in certain stores around, even in the Memphis area? Do you think now, or do you know from speaking to different doctors with people with these issues, do they recommend that now? Do you know of, or?
A toss up. I believe that you have the left hand saying, well, if everybody knew about it, then they will put the doctors and all this other medicine and pharmaceutical companies out of business. So, no, we don't need that. But on the other hand, I have doctors and medical professionals telling me that they swear by it. So it's one of those toss ups that you have to be like, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to trust this doctor who went, and again, not shaming doctors. I love my doctors.
Me
I
too.
still love doctors. But are you going to trust this doctor who went to school to study you through one book that he learned in his field? Or are you going to trust yourself, who you know personally? And you're an open book unto yourself, and everybody is a different book. Each individual human is a different book. If we could open up, that's how doctors should read us. They shouldn't read us from these these textbooks that they get, that they read and grow up with in college, because things change. Our DNA is changing. We're evolving as humans with all the GMOs, the pesticides. Look, we can go on and on about it. We
Yeah,
know what's
we
going on
could.
in the world. We do. So we have to watch out, and we have to weigh the odds. And I know cannabis gets a lot of bad rep, but listen, for me, it has worked. It's been a proven winning recipe, and I'm not running to the ER looking for a quick fix to help the pain that I'm going through, because some of the GMOs that I brought from the store are bothering my gut.
Wow, that's amazing. You're 100% correct with all that. I mean, like, it brings me to the next topic of what you were saying, because there's one thing we haven't mentioned, guys, that along her journey is as amazing as her art, as inspiring. And it's something that I'm going to put it on the screen here for you guys who are watching. When I met her through Sir Walt, it was at an event. And I believe it was at an event, a food event actually, where I met her at. And we just all got to, our energy starting to share with each other. And we got to talking, everyone's got to speaking. And then she mentioned that you used to weigh how much now?
569 pounds.
That's 569 pounds. If you're watching this internationally, I have no idea how many kilos that is, just a lot. Probably like 800 kilos or something, because they're more than pounds. I have no idea, but it was 569 pounds, guys. And I used to weigh 300 pounds. So anytime I meet someone who had this weight loss transformation, I'm like blown and inspired that they kept it off for so long and everything. But I've never met anyone who was 569 pounds, and I couldn't tell.
Wow.
When I met her, I couldn't easily tell, because if you're someone who lost massive weight, you know different things to look for. It's just, we all know. But
Yeah.
at first glance, I couldn't tell. Then when she told me, I was like, what? I was like, I have to hear more about this. I'm like, I went and got the book. I started learning, I'm like, I had to hear everything. And so can you share that story of 569 and how much have you lost in your lifetime and the time and everything? Can you share that story?
Yeah, so the 569 was put on from listening to the doctor. and, and just just really just working with them, and they're telling me, well, we don't know what to do but basically give you these steroids. And so with prednisone, for anybody who knows about steroids, they make you eat they put weight on you, not just making you eat and sleepwalk and eat and all that. Wake up in the middle of the night and eat, because that's what they do. They're steroids.
Yep.
But they also build water, and that water turns into tissue mass. And so it's not fat per se that you see. It's all of that tissue that has been built up by that solumedrol or prednisone or whatever steroid that they want to give you. They're really not good for the body or for the gut. They strip away the bio off in your gut, your flora, the probiotics that they tell you that we need. They'll clean you out. So those steroids were responsible for that 569 as far as my weight. And once I got there, it was so hard to get that weight back off. It really was. I sunk into a depression. During this course, I ended up having my first child, and she passed from SID. So
Yeah, I'm
that
sorry to hear that.
thank you. That made me not want to lose any weight or interact with anyone at all, you know. So that pushed me further in the opioids. So having the opioids on top of her death and all of that, I just kind of sat around in 569 until I started looking at my life and saying, I want more. This is not for me. I don't deserve, I'm a great person. What do I have to do? And I started to pray, and I just continued to put it out there. And, you know, the answer came to me, and that was to get to moving. You got to do something. You got to join the YMCA, get off. And they had this swimming club at the YMCA out in Cordova. And go swim and do all these water aerobics classes with all these older ladies. It was so cool. And they inspired me. Just be, you know how it is, being around people that inspire you to be better. Started branching out, doing more stuff. And another tip I'm gonna add on the cannabis note, doing that helps to speed up your metabolism. So I'm incorporating my herbs, I'm walking, I'm doing my water aerobics, I'm eating better, I'm not listening to the triggers that tell me to go to Popeyes or Burger King, McDonald's, I left all of that alone. And so I started to focus in on me, and the weight just literally started to melt off.
So I had a question. Most of us, if you're in the South where we're at, this I think it's all around the country, but definitely in the South, you never ask a lady her age. But I have to ask for this reference. So because a lot of people, people get in these stigmas or these mindsets where they say, oh, I'm 30, I can't lose no weight, or oh, I'm 40, I can't do nothing. But could you share exactly what age you were at when you were 569?
I was okay. So when I was at 569, I was in my late 20s.
Late 20s. All right, guys.
Yes.
So that shows you right there. It doesn't matter if you don't have to be 15 and have a massive weight loss. You can do it at any age, basically. And so, like, how long did it take from the 569, and what did you go down to? Like, what was the weight?
Well, currently I'm 145.
Wow. Okay, that's amazing. So that's like what, 400, almost 430 pounds.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, that's a lot of weight. And I will say that it took me about 6 years to get all that weight loss, because in between this time I'm in and out the hospital, I'm having surgeries, and it was so much to navigate throughout there. I'll be honest, I'm so grateful to be where I am. Like, this journey, like, I know you read the book and we've been talking, but even just listening to my own story, I'm like, wow, I made it through all of that.
Yeah. Because I'm not even going deep into the book. I want to let you guys experience the book for yourself. Once again, let me give you the title. I'm going to put it down on the screen. It's called 50 Shades of Z, Overcoming IBD, Obesity, Opioids, and Depression. And it's on Amazon. It's a lovely ebook. You can read it on your Kindle or your tablet or your computer or your phone. You definitely have to check it out. I'm giving it another plug because it's that great. And it's literally like, it dives so like the things that you shared in this book. Like, I was shocked, and I don't agree. I don't really get shocked. Honestly, I don't. I'm one of those type of people. I'm sort of just flat when it comes to hearing things or deciding things or just, but and this was your first book, or was this like,
No, it was my first one, and I wrote it during the time where I was homeless and staying on my sister's couch, and I just left a marriage of almost 20 years, and so I was picking myself back up. This book was like that catalyst for me to be who I am today, to become Madam Z. Madam Z hadn't been born yet. While I
mhm,
was writing that book, I was totally going into myself trying to figure out, like, what do I do? How do I go from being homeless with my two boys who I want to watch grow up and find somewhere where I can build a stable environment for them? I was just coming off of my last surgery, which took me so long to heal from.
mm.
I remember that was the worst surgery ever. And I'm so grateful it's over. So that book allowed me to heal myself just as the art has done for me.
Wow, because the deepness that you shared with us for a first time book, it was like you written books like you that's like it was like that's book number 5 or 10 or something. Because the way it was structured, the flow it went, I mean, it can easily be like, I wouldn't say a lifetime movie unless they just focus on that 20-year marriage, but I would say like it can easily be like an inspirational movie or something. So if you're someone out there who does that, check the book out. You never know. Could be a TV series on Netflix or something, but you have to check out the book. She went so deep, and I didn't want to ask this question, but I have to because you talked about it so much, especially at the beginning of the book, one of the treatments that you did. I've never heard of before in my life. And I think you know where I'm going at. I don't know the proper term for it. I'm going to let you share, but I'm just going to say it this way. She was swallowing poop.
I was. Okay,
So
so I can't find
explain.
a term for that either, right? So it's poop. And it's crazy because I still have the bottle. I saved it. I had to.
Oh,
It
wow.
they gave me, the nurse comes in the room, she gives me this clear little bottle of pills. Now it doesn't look like poop. They're
Oh,
all, it's been clean. What it is there's this form of healing your gut by taking other people's good gut bacteria and transplanting it into your gut.
oh, okay.
So what that was a probiotic transplant, so to speak. So they were trying to get some clean poop that they had taken and cleaned.
Hmm.
And then after they cleaned it, they put it off in some little gel capsules and put it in the bottle. And it was about 60 pills that I had to swallow within an hour. Yeah, it was crazy.
Did you say 60 pills in an hour?
Yes, I had to continue. It was crazy. I'm like, I gotta sit here and swallow all this poop, and the nurse was like, and they actually timed me on it. Like, you got to get this in within this hour. This the first one is gonna be all for nothing. I'm like, oh no.
Man, God. So that brings me to the next question that I just have now, just popped in my head. So if there's someone out there, like, do you know if there's any way like to prevent Crohn's or IBD, or is it just something where like right now in the modern day science and what we all know so far, and it's from the research, is it just something like you had to just suppress by your diet and lifestyle?
Well, one of the things you have to understand is that Crohn's is hereditary. It is in your genes, and sometimes it skips. But it's there, it's dormant, and unfortunately, it just happened to awaken in me. My mom had 8 kids, and I'm the only one with Crohn's.
I see.
That
Gotcha.
you and
Yeah.
so there's no. But I will say this: in order for us to prevent this IBD epidemic, we have to leave these fast food places alone. Eating out,
Yeah.
That's no good. You know, we've gotten lazy. We're so structured around instant. We want to be able to come home and just eat right then and there. And I understand, you know, we all work and, you know, circumstances dictate, but 24 hours in a day for everybody. And I think I mentioned it in the book about being 24 hours a day. We all choose to do what we want to do when we get up every morning. So, me choosing to lose the weight the way I wanted to kick
Mhm.
the opioids, all of that is choice,
Yep.
right? So there are no preventative measures other than just the choice of living a healthy life, you know? And that's the truth for everything.
Yep. You're exactly right. Living a healthy lifestyle literally should be the foundation of everyone's life, because that, like you just said, it doesn't allow all of our hereditary triggers to open. It's less likely that, if there's cancer in your family, if there's type 2 diabetes, whatever it may be in your family, or Crohn's or IBD, if we all
Hmm.
understand, and this is for anyone who may be watching this with kids, or if you're someone who's 13 or 14, if you start earlier than what we started at, that's why we're all doing what we're doing. People who've lived the experience, we're all sharing this for the generations below and those that are current age or above who can try to implement in their life. You can implement a healthier lifestyle in your life at a young age, or instill in your child life at a young age. Their ability to grow throughout the rest of their journey in this time we have in this vessel that they're in will be exponentially greater. They may reduce their chances of having their type 2 diabetes, the Crohn's, the overweight, the pimples, everything that comes from eating such a process. And then now they even have a new term now. Well, it's new to me. It's called ultra processed foods. So
Oh,
it's not long. Yeah, food isn't just processed anymore. It's ultra processed. And the
oh,
FDA allows it here in America. So, which is crazy. Yeah. So it's like, if you're not in America, you're like in the EU or European Union or somewhere over there like that, your government protects you more when it comes to the food and things of that nature, because there's certain ingredients, like we were talking about the fast food and stuff. There's certain things like in certain companies, like high fructose corn, certain things of that nature, that is not even allowed to be in the same product in these other countries. And these companies are American companies.
hmm,
So when it comes, like you were saying, like the fast foods and things of that nature, I think you're 100% right. If you're spending 8 hours a day at work, most people are, there's 16 more hours in the
right.
day. So if you just say you sleep 8 hours, which most people don't, you still have an 8 hour window
You do.
to focus on yourself.
And to get away from the television because it's telling lies to your vision.
Yep.
And while those lies are being told to your vision, you're eating that processed food. So it's all working in tandem and it keeps us in a depressed state,
Yep.
which keeps our gut and our bodies, our systems feeling so overwhelmed and overloaded. That's when the stress enters in. So that's that gut brain that we're talking about now. See,
Mhm.
so yeah, you're absolutely right.
You're right, because the gut, like you said, I'm 100% with you. I believe it's the first brain. I think it's because, like, even when you think about, like, you're pregnant, you're feeding through the gut.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know how all the process works, but I just believe, it is the first brain, because, like what you were saying with the television, I mean, it just instills anxiety, fear, and then we go to social media, it gives you instant gratification. So you're always getting hit with dopamine.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
that's why people, their attention spans get shorter and shorter, because they're not getting that hit. They're not
Mm,
getting that hit. It's like a drug. It's literally a drug, not getting that hit of what they need. So they need to run it to these, these McDonald's, these other places like that to get that hit. And these places are just filled with chemicals.
they
Like,
are.
they're not even food, it's really just chemicals with a lot of sugar. But we literally can go on and on about this.
And we sure can, because this is a deep topic right here. It really is the biggest pandemic we're facing right now. Forget
Oh
we
yeah.
talking gut health, because in order for you to be protected through the gut got to be healthy. So it
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, like with all that stuff that they're pushing, how you supposed to get, protected from it and all that stuff, they're pushing this one thing, but then at the same time, you know, they're pushing it, but then at the same time, they're not even talking about eating healthy. I mean, there was advertisements saying, get this thing, you know, that little thing you jab in your arm, get the and we'll give you a donut.
See, no.
So it's like if you don't, like, once again, if you keep being programmed, you don't see what's really going on. You
Yeah,
know, you can't really see that what they're doing is they're not really for your health.
no, it's not. No, it's not. No, the matrix is everywhere. It's all around us. It's
Yep.
what we what we breathe. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
So
yeah.
a program is just living and breathing alongside us, and it goes back to the matter of choice again.
Yep. I think that's why we was given free will for times like this. All throughout man history, there's always been times where free will comes into play. And you know, I think there's no amount of time than today, at least from where we're living in this vessel right now. The only time I know is now. I can't recall the other times, but I mean, choice is so important. They're trying to take it away every which way you turn. When you look at the laws they're trying to write, that's why once again, voting actually is sort of important when you vote in the right way. But and once again, you're informed. But as you said, with choices, that leads me to like the follow-up questions. Like what have you been up to lately?
Oh, what haven't I been up to lately? Oh my gosh, that's a loaded question. Before I tell you that, I want to state this. Crohn's is an autoimmune deficiency disorder.
Hmm.
And it when you have an unhealthy gut, your immune system suffers.
Yep.
So is an immune disorder,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
So if you are having issues with your gut, don't be surprised if you get. That's all I'm saying.
You're right.
Now, back to what I've been doing. I've been doing some of everything, and it's been so wonderful. I'm so grateful. I have been thankful and grateful enough and just blessed enough to have met Sir Walter. And honestly, it's just been an adventure ever since, just going uphill. Through him, I met Anthony Lee, who works out of martial arts studio downtown, and he actually does a lot of the murals you see around town.
Mm.
So we've been working alongside him, and we've been painting murals out in Germantown Park. The trails you can walk, we've got murals out there. We're working on a mural on top of FedEx rooftop downtown, the old Gibson Guitar
Yep.
Building, right across from FedEx Forum. Today, actually, right before you and I got onto this meeting, uh, I'm in the process of working on a tribute painting for the Jimmy Lunsford Jamboree Festival. And they're going to pay tribute to Jimmy Lunsford, who was a musical legend here in the 901 alongside Young Dolph and some other artists. And we also have a tribute to contribute. So I'm excited. We were working on finishing that up. And when I tell you, we cut it close, we cut it close. We just received an award from Cam and Timsy at the Stone Awards. And here he is right here. Come here, babe.
I was just about to ask you, did you have this art on hand or is it at the facility already?
Actually, actually, it's in the process of curing because we were just
Okay.
putting touches on it. But Sir Walt and I received an award for best collaboration, artistic collaboration this year, and I'm just so
Wow.
like, oh, wow, I was blown away with that. I'm working on this piece behind me. You're talking about vote. My best friend, Sweetrika, is with the Labor Council down on Madison, and they're pushing the right to vote to protect the unions who are working for people. So
Hmm.
I hope everybody does get out there and vote, because this right to vote amendment that they're trying to pass here in Tennessee is going to change a lot of things. They're trying
Wow.
to that people stay in that low income bracket, and we don't want that. But Sir Walt has a piece that we
I remember that.
we collaborated on, and we finished. And this has actually been hanging downtown at the gallery on North Main. So yeah, that's one of our greatest pieces.
Yeah, that's nice. So if you're listening to this podcast right now, jump over to YouTube to our channel of Guilt Free Lifestyle, and you would definitely be able to see all the artwork behind Madam Z, and you get to see the special appearances by Sir Walt himself. So you get to catch that out as well. So there he is right there. Bam. Our guy, Sir Walt. So anyway, I want to let you have the final words, and I want to give it a little shaping around what I want your final words to be, if you don't mind. And I know you'll be able to easily do this. So I would like for you to give your final words on sharing some of your light to others of what you think has inspired you throughout your journey, continues to inspire you now, and what you feel may help others inspire them. So if you can do that with your final words, that'd be awesome.
Okay, what continues to inspire
you, and how that inspiration that comes from you can continue to inspire others?
people? People inspire me. My children, my boys motivate me to get up off in the morning. You know, I find inspiration in everything around me, to be honest with you. Since these are my final words, let me shape it like this. My view on life is completely different from a lot of people's because of the traumatic experience that I've gone through physically. So all of that was done mentally and spiritually as well, not just physically. So there was a threesome at the same time.
Yep.
So my thoughts on life are, I'm grateful to be here. So when I wake up in the morning, I'm truly happy to be alive and able to get up. I'm not in pain. I can get up. I can wake my boys and prepare them for school, and I can interact with people around me. I can share all this happiness and positivity, and I can feel
and you get to wake up to this handsome young man.
I definitely get to wake up to this beautiful man. And yeah, just having a loving relationship, someone who I can create with, and we can bounce ideas off of and share that like mind, working alongside great individuals. People motivate me. I wake up in the morning and I'm motivated by myself and by other people. And if you can't find inspiration within yourself, you gotta look outside yourself at other people, at what they're doing, and see if you can kind of absorb some of their light and try to pull that. If you could just pull one thing from somebody that you admire and say, okay, wow, she was able to lose weight. Mm-hmm. If I could just find one way to implement something from her winning recipe and implement it in the mind, then I can develop a strategy that might not necessarily be her strategy, but my own. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's what we're here to do. We're here to connect and weave this web of creation together in unity, and to help each other evolve, because there is no growth unless we help each other. I can't grow, I can't share any light without being able to reflect it and have it bounce back at me. So, you know, it's just one of those things that's internal for me. I have to get up, and I have to not only find just motivation and inspiration in my children, but in myself first and foremost, because of what I've gone through. We've all gone through things. So there's some inspiration and hope that we hold within us. And that intuition is guiding us to find it. Follow it. It's there. It's waiting on you. I'm living.
Right. That's right. You are. I appreciate that. So basically it's inspiration, people, and gratitude. If I had to sum those up to 3 words, would that be correct?
Yes, gratitude first and foremost. That's the perfect way to sum that up. Yeah.
So with that, guys, I think that's a good way to wrap up. So I will once again, as always, like to thank our guest, Madam Z, for coming on the show today, guys. And I would like to thank you all for checking us out. And as always, remember to continue to live a guilt-free lifestyle. Peace.